The President. Addresses. Mr. Peter Shield will address the Council on the Public Accounts Committee Report number 84. Mr. Peter Shield. President, on behalf of the Public Accounts Committee, I submit the committee's report number 84, which covers 8 chapters in the Director of Audits report number 84. I will now give a brief account of the 2 chapters on which public hearings have been held. Regarding Chapter 4, Management of Mandatory Window Inspection Scheme by the Buildings Department, the committee notes that under the Mandatory Window Inspection Scheme, or MWIS, the Buildings Department is empowered to issue statutory notices for window inspections to owners of private buildings aged 10 years or above, requiring them to appoint a qualified person to carry out inspections of the windows in their buildings and, where necessary, to carry out repairs under the quality person's supervision. According to the data from the Buildings Department, there has been a downward trend in fallen window incidents in Hong Kong between 2017 and 2024, indicating that the MWIS is somewhat effective. However, the committee is concerned that a significant proportion of the buildings involved in fallen window incidents during this period were not selected as target buildings for the issuance of MWIS statutory notices. While a considerable number of buildings that had been issued with MWIS statutory notices had not yet compiled with the notices at the time of the incidents. Worse still, fallen window incidents occurred even in buildings that had complied with the statutory notices. These situations reflect room for improvement in the Building Department's selection mechanism, administration of the MWIS statutory notices, and monitoring of QPs. The committee recommends that the administration should comprehensively review the management of all aspects of the MWIS and standardize and regularize the current practices for incorporation into departmental guidelines to ensure consistency in practices and reduce human errors. While property owners have primary responsibility for maintaining and repairing their properties, the government should not rely solely on property owners to fulfill this responsibility voluntarily, as people's lives are at stake when it comes to window safety. Instead, a more proactive regulatory approach should be adopted. The committee urges the administration to introduce legislative amendments expeditiously to enhance deterrence and enforcement efficiency. In addition, the administration should use non-compulsory means such as incentives, education, advice, and warnings to promote among members of the public the proper use of windows, for example, avoiding using windows to hang clothes or for support when doing cleaning, and refraining from opening windows during strong winds, in order to prevent fallen window incidents. The committee also agrees that when implementing MWIS, the Buildings Department should render appropriate assistance to owners having practical difficulties. However, given that safety is no trivial matter, the Buildings Department must deal with faulty windows as soon as possible based on risk levels, and even carry out the required work in default of the owners in high-risk cases, and subsequently recover the costs from the owners concerned. Regarding Chapter 6, Street Cleansing Services, the committee points out that maintaining cleanliness and hygiene in public places is a crucial aspect of urban management in the wake of the COVID-19 epidemic. The committee notes that the Food and Environmental Hygiene Department currently outsources approximately 80% of the city's street cleansing services to contractors through open tender, while the remaining 20% is handled by FEHD's in-house staff. The committee considers that traditional cleansing service industry to be labor-intensive and prone to challenges in human resource management. In the light of the global trend of using new technologies for street cleansing and related monitoring and enforcement work, the committee urges the administration to step up the promotion of digitalization and make good use of innovative technologies in this regard to enhance the department's operational efficiency and monitoring of outsourced services. To strengthen the monitoring of contractors' service performance, the committee strongly recommends that the FEHD should review the current mechanism for assessing and monitoring contractors' performance. In particular, the weighting of scores under the tender assessment mechanism for FEHD's street cleansing service contracts, and whether the existing measures of issuing default notices and deducting monthly service fees are effective in deterring misconduct by contractors. In addition, the committee urges the administration to conduct a holistic study and review of the policy of outsourced street cleansing services and the way forward, and to keep data for analyzing the cost-effectiveness of services provided by in-house staff versus contractors, making adjustments according to operational conditions and needs. Last but not least, I wish to thank members of the committee for their contributions. I would also like to express our gratitude to the witnesses who attended the hearings of the committee, as well as the Director of Audits and his colleagues for their cooperation and support. Thank you.
Question.